forgot to lock the door.
A number of times.
Yeah.
Lost jobs, lost relationships. But all those are things that, there was a second chance for. But I can't buy a sister, Oyibo.
Time I go to her house, there's no time I leave her house without laughing because of what she said.
She has this way of dancing to the left. Maybe because she's left-handed. You see her always dancing to her.
Cracking, having fun, and it was.
Wise one? One more wisdom, quickly, one more.
You know we all watched the movie of Thor.
Yes.
I hear there is an updated version. Where his wife put to bed. Does that make him stubborn?
The way to describe it was awesome.
I'm practicing OLUWASEUN God has been good to me.
Generally.
Life has changed completely. We had to take up roles she was doing all alone by herself. Before mastering the act, we forgot to lock the door.
A number of times.
Yeah, then we wake up the next day to realize that we didn't lock the door at all.
Burnt
It
food.
has happened. We've burnt food severally. Then I've had to start boiling water. I have to make sure you guys are up.
Yeah.
And then
Sometimes
now,
I sleep off.
yeah, I have to wake them up. I have to prepare food.
School, lunch.
Yes, and at the beginning, I had to prepare food, drive you down to school, make sure lunch was ready, and then do dinner. And I'm glad the girls, especially Tenila now, is making efforts. She wakes up now to now boil the water for herself and her sister.
It's extremely tough, It's extremely tough. When it happened, I mean, I've failed, in life. Failed in school, lost jobs, lost relationships. But all those are things that, there was a second chance for. But I can't buy a sister, Oyibo. You never get over these things in life. You just get through it. I don't know how, after the incident, I clocked 40. My 40th birthday was as dry as anything.
For close to 2 months, in fact, we had to leave the country at a particular time with my husband because we could not cope. We had to leave the country just to go outside and take a break.
My colleagues at work think, strong man and all that. But for the very first time after my father's death, this was the first time I broke down. I broke down to the extent that my wife had to get my cardiologist to find out if I'm doing well for my BP.
In fact, since when she passed, there are certain things that I've tried to tweak in myself to be able to move just like she did.
Last month of just a few weeks ago, I still go back to our WhatsApp messages. And then I'll just be scrolling through and then just be reading. Once in a while, when my children see me doing that, they try to take the phone away from me.
I think the fact that I guess I had to become more mature since she passed. I had to learn who I can be around and who not to stay with.
A very, very funny woman. Anytime go to her house. There's no time I leave her house without laughing because of what she said.
I have so many candid pictures and videos of her that I cannot post.
And another thing about her, she was, you know, she looked a bit serious, but she's not all that serious. I have several pictures of myself and where she would always photobomb my pictures. She was fun.
Need to eat a lot of vegetables, and I said, okay, you need to tell me how I'm going to. And she sent a voice note. I still have it on my phone, trying to tell me, okay, you do this, you buy it, you put this, you put that, you do this and all that.
When it was family time, if you get what I mean, when it was us, the main, like her people, that's when you see her being, you know, excited, being happy, you know.
She has this way of dancing to the left. Maybe because she's left-handed. You see her always dancing. And it has this funny look.
And then we also had like lots of fun moments, videos, hangouts together. I still even remember one where I think it was Daniela's 13th birthday. And we had like this really interesting dance on the staircase of the house, like really interesting. Like once in a while I still go back to like see that.
So another fun memory, I mean, of the numerous was the time there was a Don't Leave Me challenge at it was going around, and then Tobon jumped on it, and we were here in the sitting room cracking, you know, having fun, and it was
Wise one. One more wisdom, quickly, one more.
You know, we all watched the movie of Thor.
Yes.
I hear there's an updated version where his wife put to bed. Does that make him stubborn?
The way to describe it was awesome.
She was a very happy person, so you just, somewhere in the back of your head, you just assume that, okay, people like this, they get to live long lives.
Remember during COVID, 2020, the Mother's Day, during COVID, you know, she preached on that day, and I remember she shared, you know, immediately she sent the link to me, sent to my mom, sent to my brother, you know, she was going to preach
all
that
of that. But we must birth hope in them too. And you know, before we can birth hope in them, we need to birth hope in us, in ourselves.
We jokingly call her Baby Yad. Because when we started Mommy Yad, you say, she's not Yad. And I said, okay, you are not Yad, you are Baby Yad.
We need to go somewhere together. It was always a battle of who will drive, because neither of us liked driving.
Every time she was in a drama, which was rare, but she was there.
There's stones in your pocket right now that you will die just to grow. Listen, God loves you.
She would learn her lines like a student who was just starting school.
To say I'm very, very tall, like where am I rushing to? And like the way she calls me, my nickname, BB, is very, very, I don't know, the way she says it is very funny.
Our 40th birthday, I remember mommy called me too and said it's a surprise that she will love that I'm there and all that. So I said, okay. And when I remember when she saw me that day, she was like, Auntie Nike, you're not so funny.
There was a name my predecessor called her, Abokoku. And it was also because of the fact that she was very dedicated to, you know, her family life. So meaning, for those who are not Yoruba speaking, someone who would die for her spouse, Abokoku. And in our conversation, I then changed it to Abokoye. I mean, meaning that someone who will grow with the spouse and live, you know, with the spouse.
Complete family woman, complete professional. And you will agree with me that for somebody who lived so short a life and achieved so much in that short lifetime, it's an accomplishment. But by all means, Shehu falls in the class of Mrs. Lapidot. You know, Deborah, the wife of Lapidot, she led battles without carrying a gun.
One of the things that endeared me to her, and I usually tell her,
she loved her husband. It was really nice, you know, because she was one of the very few people that made me think marriage is worth it.
At night, probably when my dad was watching TV or something, so I'd go and then I'd like cuddle with my dad, and then she'd come and then she'd be like, "Is that your husband?"
Leave my husband alone.
Leave my husband alone. And I'm like, "Is my daddy?" She said, "He knew me first. Before you were even a thought, he knew me." So she's always really prioritized her family. Her family always came first. Even though her husband was like, it was like there's a hierarchy to the family. Her husband there's her husband. There's always a husband. Even if her husband was wrong, it was still her husband.
Many a times you see her coming home, calling the husband Bobo, Bobo. Even got to a stage, they were calling her SB. Everybody wanted to know the meaning of SB. When they refused to tell us, I started calling her Sabitua. If I don't call her Sabitua, I'll call her Sabotua. She did not even take offense. She would just smile.
He's small to me, Bobo, Bobo, Bobo. And we're like, Esma, you could see. So the love for her husband stood out.
And the Peluna said, when the Peluna, I'm like, someone that you left in your house this morning, I'm going to go back to meet. But she was 100% in the marriage, and that's very hard to find. But someone that has means, someone that does not, that actually has options, someone that if they do walk away, they'll be fine. That it's not as if that life is dependent on his marriage, but to be that into it, for me, it was a challenge as a person, because she had submerged herself into the marriage. You couldn't separate them.
It's not an easy thing for a woman to be a career woman and still be able to maintain the home. When you see her children, you see that she has been able to bring them up properly within the few short time she had with them.
When she traveled abroad, when she came back and she's making the money, some will believe that maybe when she traveled, she took advantage of the husband. When she's making the money, the husband is taking advantage of her. But the thing is that they complement each other so much. I wouldn't know how it feels with my brother, but I think I have an opinion of it. When they say somebody is your soulmate, Shehu is my brother's soulmate.
She had it all. She was career driven, had an amazing husband, and she was an amazing wife. And her children, she always took time for them. I mean, there are days we'll come back home around like to 11, and mom telling we still have the strength in her to go through her children's assignments. I'm like, which strength, please?
Dupalu is my younger brother. Like I told you, I've known him all my life. I led him to Christ. I know him in and out. That's the best thing that happened to him. We prayed something of equal measure or better will happen. But as we speak today, Shehu is the best thing that happened to Dupalu.
She was also someone who could relate at different levels with people, knowing fully well that the corporate world itself is a mixed multitude corporate setting where you have all people of faith and all people of character.
If you needed one or two thoughts or someone's brain to pick, she was always willing to give her opinion or a suggestion.
Comfortable, that's the word. She was someone that you are comfortable to be around. So she was kind of person that anytime I had just anything, I could just straight. I didn't have to think or whatever. Straight up, I could just go to her and immediately.
So it's very close to them. All the children in the house, they like her so much. It's very, very close to them. What they cannot even tell her, they used to tell her. I mean, the things I cannot tolerate from them, you know. You know, they know me. Things I cannot tolerate, you know, she will tolerate it. All those kind of things. She's very, very close to them.
Always understanding with younger people, we would never understand.
But she had the fantastic way of, you know, balancing the views from the young and also balances the views from the old.
They just all defer to her as their elder sister. Never once was there any
altercation.
Never.
So the other children in the house, she's a very good and responsive auntie to them.
I also felt like I could talk to her because when I talked to her, she would not judge. She was very wise. I would, you know, talk to her and then she would listen. It's very warm. She was one of the people in the office that I feel safe with, that I could, you know, tell anything.
She was my life, my world, my supporter, my #1 cheerleader.
She's a sister that anyone will wish to have.
I love her. I will always. I'm not sure anybody can take that space in my heart.
So many people out there, they say they are Christians, but she is somebody personally that will say this woman is a woman of God.
Again, her life is a testament to the fact that it's not even a matter of how short or how long, it is how impactful.
The way she talks, the way she relates to people. She loved God, she loved her family, she loved her husband.
We used to call her the conscience of the church.
One of the things I would say I would miss about her is the word Shandalika.
I always remember her as somebody that supports me.
She knew how to encourage people.
When we went back to the office, it was pretty much difficult. So now I begin to look at where she's always seated, and in settlements in which I work today, all the members of the team actually missed Shehu Adebanjo.
Everybody is going to miss her. We are still missing her. I don't even know how to say it.
I would like to remember her for all of that, for her supportive role.
She still found the strength to, you know, push, to encourage.
She was always talking about eternity. What about if this happened? Will I make heaven?
Just look for every opportunity to appreciate people. She did that.
She was always happy. Like I've never seen her sad before. She was.
The thing I will remember most that is etched in my brain, her always dancing to the left.
But yeah, she proved that you can have it all.
So if someone is so good that God feels like you don't need to go to the rest of the classes, come up hither. That's how I see it now.
I think I'm a work in progress also because of my interaction with Shehu, and I think I'll continue to be a work in progress.
To live in the heart of those who love is not to die. We love you, but God loves you most.
You can have so many things, but yet be yourself. You can have access to many privileges, but you don't have to flaunt those privileges at people.
I'm just glad that I don't have any outstanding issue, because, you know, Shehu is very approachable.
I got to see her in her professional capacity, and genuinely I realized that there was no difference in her demeanor. There was no air of pretense.
But I think she's someone you have to have experience. You have to have like had her in your life at some point. And like I always tell people, like I'm always very grateful that our paths ever crossed.
An extremely confident woman in her own skin.
The children, I know Shehu has given them the foundation, the basic one they need.
People die young, I don't think that's the case. I just feel it's because everything that they were meant to do, probably across a lifetime, they did it fast. And God was like, you know what? You don't need to be here anymore.
I'm happy and grateful for the time we spent together, even though it was not enough. I was just, you know, becoming myself and getting to know her better as an adult.
Shehu is not dead per se. She's gone to be with her maker, and she's left behind 2 wonderful girls. I have prayed for these girls. I have sought God's face concerning them, and I will be disappointed if these girls don't shake the world.
I hardly use that word. There is nobody that is perfect. God is the only perfect being. She is extremely perfect.
So she always encouraged me to like go out and like do what I could. So when I sang for you on Father's Day, I was there for you and her, because I was just like imagining her in that her seat in church, like that corner there, and then she was like watching me. So yeah.
I want the world to know that I was privileged to share 20 years over 20 years with an angel in human form.
He said a star shines brightest when it dies, because that's when it explodes from the inside out and all its light shows to the world. I didn't know how much of an impact my mom had made on the world until the day of her burial.
Thought about it, and like it didn't dawn on me that like she was dead, and I started crying because I was angry with myself because I was like getting her, and one of my friends had to tell me that like it was okay, and it just meant that I was getting through it better, like I was getting better at dealing with it. But like sometimes I just would rather feel like the pain and the hurt than feel nothing at all, because it makes me feel like I'm still thinking about her.
I think I said the caring and loving daughter, a loving and submissive wife, a beautiful and dedicated employee, a committed friend. Sheon was the best in every area.
Our children, Tenny and Ara, you know, we're going to be there as much as possible, to our best to be there for them.
The luckiest people to have gotten her as a mother.
It was a kind of an oxymoron. She looks gentle, quiet, but in her is a spirit that does not believe in impossibility.
In great pains, I call she always say, Mommy Lamidi, Shebe nigbagbo. God is still steadfast. Remember that. She said when season change, God's faithfulness forever remained steadfast. Hold on to that.
Sharing all through our life together, never carried for one day the mentality of a boss inside our matrimonial home.
Her life teaches friendliness, submission, selflessness. That's my child for you.
She made me without ever pushing me. She influenced me to every decision without ever confronting me. But she will make me do what she wanted. And that will excel.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was never a mediocre. Never believe in average. She's the one who leads or nudge you in the right direction without pushing.